Ethan demanded free surgery. I said no. He smeared my name across Seattle's hospitals. My wife begged me to forgive him. I uncovered his vicious plan, and then he confessed everything. I'm James, a surgeon in Seattle. My life was good until my mother-in-law Susan called me last month. She demanded I perform a surgery on her son Ethan for free. My stomach churned just hearing his name. Ethan's my wife Emily's younger brother, and I've despised him for years. He's the kind of guy who thinks he's smarter than everyone, especially me. During the pandemic, he mocked doctors like me, calling us sellouts for pushing vaccines. He even told Emily's cousin I cheated my way through med school in Boston. A joke, he said. A joke that could have ruined my career. I told Susan no, flat out. My voice was calm but firm. I wasn't about to cut open someone who disrespected my life's work. She gasped like I'd slapped her. He's family, James. How could you? She yelled. I didn't back down. I explained Ethan's lies could have cost me everything. My license, my reputation, my peace. She brushed it off, saying he was just teasing. Teasing? That's what she called it? I hung up, my hands shaking. That night, Emily sat me down in our cozy Seattle apartment. Her eyes were soft, pleading. James, can't you just do it? For family? She asked. My heart sank. Emily's always been close to Ethan, her little brother. He's got this way of twisting her emotions, making her feel guilty. I reminded her how Ethan belittled me, how he spread lies. She sighed, her face torn. Family comes first, she whispered. I shook my head. No way was I helping someone who'd spit on my profession. The next day, Susan called again. Her voice was sharper now, accusing. You're selfish, James. Ethan needs you. I clenched my jaw. Selfish? After everything Ethan did? I told her I wasn't a charity, and I wouldn't risk my career for him. She hung up, but I knew this wasn't over. Ethan and Susan don't take no for an answer. I could feel the storm coming, like dark clouds rolling over Puget Sound. Emily tried again that evening, her voice breaking. James, he's my brother. Please. I hated seeing her hurt, but I stood my ground. Ethan didn't deserve my help. Not after the lies, the insults, the smirks. I looked into Emily's eyes, my heart heavy. I can't, Em. I just can't. She nodded slowly, but I could tell she was torn. Family's her weakness, and Ethan knows it. I braced myself, knowing this was only the beginning. 3 years ago, Emily and I were planning our wedding in Portland. Everything was set. The venue, a charming barn overlooking the Willamette River. The budget, tight but manageable. We'd spent months pinching pennies, dreaming of a perfect day. Then Ethan stuck his nose in. He called Emily one evening, his voice all charm and confidence. You've got to hire my buddy's band, he said. They're epic. They'll make your wedding unforgettable. I overheard Emily on the phone, her tone hesitant. The band's fee? $5,000. Way over our budget. We'd already booked a DJ for half that price. I grabbed the phone, my patience thin. Ethan, we can't afford it. We've got a plan. He laughed, that smug chuckle I hated. Come on, James. You're a hotshot surgeon. What's a few grand to you? My blood boiled. I wasn't some ATM. Emily looked at me, her eyes pleading. Maybe we can make it work? She whispered. I shook my head, firm. No way. The band wasn't even our style, some wannabe rock group with more ego than talent. Ethan didn't let up. He called Emily daily, working her like a puppet. He reminded her how he'd helped her years ago, paid her rent when she was broke in college, covered the down payment for her first car in Tacoma. You owe me, Em, he said. I could hear her resolve cracking. Then he pulled the family card. Mom would love this band. She always wanted me involved in your big day. Susan, their mom, had a soft spot for Ethan. Always had. Emily's face softened, guilt creeping in. One night we argued in our tiny Portland apartment. Dishes piled in the sink, wedding plans spread across the table. James, it's just one thing, Emily said, her voice shaky. It'll make Mom happy. Ethan too. I clenched my fists, trying to stay calm. It's not just one thing, Em. It's Ethan always getting his way. She looked away, tears welling. I hated this. Hated how Ethan manipulated her, how he made her feel like she owed him everything. I took a deep breath. Fine, we'll hire the band. Her face lit up, but I felt like I'd lost a battle. The wedding day came. The barn glowed under string lights, the river sparkling in the distance. But the band? A disaster. They showed up late, half drunk, and played too loud. Guests winced at the off-key vocals. Our carefully planned vibe ruined. I caught Ethan smirking by the bar, like he'd won. Emily tried to stay positive, dancing with her cousins, but I could tell she was embarrassed. I pulled her aside, my voice low. This is what happens when we let Ethan call the shots. She nodded, but didn't reply. I knew she felt trapped between us. After the wedding, Ethan acted like nothing happened. He slapped my back, grinning. Told you they'd be great, right? I forced a smile, my jaw tight. Inside, I was furious, not just at the band, but at how Ethan steamrolled our plans, how he used Emily's love for him to get what he wanted. I swore I'd never let it happen again, but deep down, I knew Ethan wasn't done. He'd always find a way to worm back in, to twist the knife. And now, with this surgery nonsense, it felt like history repeating itself. The weeks after I refused Ethan's surgery were hell. Susan called nonstop, her voicemails venomous. You're heartless, James. You'll regret this. I deleted them, my hands trembling. Ethan was worse. He showed up at my hospital in Seattle, strutting into the waiting room like he owned it. My heart sank when I saw him near the reception desk, chatting loudly with a patient. Dr. James? Yeah, he refused to help his own brother-in-law, scared he'd botch it, he said, said, his voice carrying. Patients turned, their eyes boring into me. I froze, my face burning. I marched over, my voice low but firm. Ethan, leave, now. He smirked, leaning closer. What's wrong, Doc? Can't handle the truth? The nurses stared, whispering. I felt the room shrink, like I was back in med school, defending my every move. I reassured the patients, my voice steady despite the knot in my gut. Everything's fine. Please, don't worry. But Ethan wasn't done. He lingered, muttering to anyone who'd listen, painting me as a fraud. I called security, my hands shaking as they escorted him out. That night, I checked the hospital's Google reviews. My stomach dropped. A flood of one-star reviews, all posted within hours. Dr. James refuses to treat family. Untrustworthy. Another read, he's cold, prioritizes grudges over patients. Anonymous, of course, but I knew Ethan's fingerprints were all over them. My colleagues started giving me side glances. Patients canceled appointments. I felt my career slipping, like sand through my fingers. I confronted Emily in our Seattle apartment, my voice raw. Your brother's trying to ruin me, Em. This has to stop. Emily's face crumpled. He's just upset, James. He needs the surgery. I slammed my hand on the table, harder than I meant. Upset? He's slandering me. My job's on the line. She flinched, tears welling. I hated this. Hated how Ethan drove a wedge between us. She begged me to reconsider, her voice soft. He's my brother. Please, James. I shook my head, my chest tight. I won't help someone who's destroying me. Emily looked away, torn. I could see her loyalty splitting, family versus me. The harassment didn't stop. Susan showed up at the hospital next, causing a scene in the lobby. My son could die because of you, she screamed, her voice echoing. Nurses ushered her out, but the damage was done. My reputation was unraveling. Then came the social media posts. Ethan tweeted from a burner account. Dr. James in Seattle? Don't trust him. Refuses family. Cuts corners. The lies spread like wildfire. My phone buzzed with notifications, each one a punch to the gut. Colleagues texted asking if I was okay. I wasn't. I sat Emily down again, my voice steady but cold. This isn't just about me anymore, Em. They're dragging you into this. She nodded, her eyes red. I know, but they're my family. I took a deep breath, my heart pounding. You need to choose, me or them. Her face went pale, like I'd ripped the air from the room. I hated saying it, but I couldn't live like this, constantly looking over my shoulder, my career in tatters. Emily whispered, I need time. I nodded, but inside, I was terrified. What if she chose them? The next morning, I found another post online, this one worse. Dr. James botched a surgery years ago, covered it up, a complete lie, but it stung. Patients whispered in the halls. My supervisor called me in, his face grim. We're getting complaints, James. Handle this. I felt the walls closing in, my dream job slipping away. Ethan wasn't just a nuisance anymore. He was a wrecking ball, and I was running out of ways to fight back. Toi se tieptuk viet fan tutukwa kau shuyen moi, sudung tieng an, mai ngoi thun hat, theo fong kachkwar amithias hol. Fan naisike viek toi tue mod jiu travienge fat hien etanjung sao kats bai jang wukong, koi fa hoai ko hoi thang tien kwa toi taimot fong kam dan tiengo Seattle. Toi joy mat Ethan tain ha anta o Tacoma, nhung anta kong hoi han, va Emily koi kung jong ikat lien lak voi Ethan va Susan. Kau chuyen juok toi ucho text to speech voi kau van gan, nhip jiu tun hien, va kam sukman meje tangkichting. I couldn't take it anymore. The lies, the whispers, the constant fear of losing my career. I hired a private investigator, a guy named Tom from Bellevue. My hands shook as I handed him my laptop, showing him the anonymous posts and reviews. Find out who's behind this, I said, my voice low. Tom nodded, his face calm but focused. I felt a flicker of hope, like maybe I could fight back, but deep down, I already knew the answer. Ethan. It had to be him. Days dragged on, each one heavier than the last. Patients avoided my eyes in the hospital halls. My supervisor called again, his tone sharp. James, these rumors are hurting us. Fix it. I nodded, my throat tight, but I felt powerless. Emily barely spoke to me, her face pale with worry. She still hadn't chosen me or her family. Every night, we sat in silence in our Seattle apartment, the tension thick. I wanted to scream, to shake her, to make her see what Ethan was doing, but I waited, my heart pounding. Tom called a week later. Got something, he said. I met him at a coffee shop near Pike Place Market, the air thick with the smell of roasted beans. He slid a folder across the table. My hands trembled as I opened it. Screenshots, IP addresses, burner accounts, all traced back to Ethan. He'd posted the reviews, the tweets, even an old forum thread claiming I'd botched a surgery. Worse, he'd emailed my supervisor anonymously, alleging I'd cheated in med school. My vision blurred with rage. Ethan hadn't just crossed a line, he'd burned the whole bridge. I showed Emily the evidence that night. Her eyes widened, scanning the papers. This can't be true, she whispered. I stayed silent, letting the proof speak. Her hands shook, tears falling. Why would he do this? She asked, her voice breaking. I clenched my jaw. Because he hates me, Em. He thinks I'm not good enough for you. She looked away, guilt and shock warring on her face. I softened my tone. We need to confront him, together. The next day, we drove to Ethan's house in Tacoma. The suburbs felt too quiet, like the calm before a storm. My heart pounded as we knocked. Ethan opened the door, his smirk fading when he saw me. What's this about? He asked, his tone sharp. I held up the folder, my voice steady. steady. I know what you did, Ethan. The posts, the emails, the lies. His eyes flicked to Emily, then back to me. He shrugged, casual as ever. Prove it. Emily stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. We have proof, Ethan. Why? Why hurt James like this? He laughed, cold and bitter. He's not family, Em. He's weak, always acting like he's better than us. My fists clenched, but I stayed calm. You tried to ruin my career, I said. You almost cost me everything. He leaned closer, his eyes dark. You don't deserve her. Never did. Emily gasped, her face pale. Enough, she said, her voice breaking. You're my brother, but this is too far. Ethan's face twisted, like he'd been slapped. He turned to me, his voice low. This is your fault, James. You turned her against me. I shook my head, my heart heavy. You did that yourself. Emily grabbed my hand, her grip tight. We're done, Ethan. Don't contact us again. We drove home in silence, the weight of it all crushing us. That night, Emily sat me down. Her eyes were red, but her voice was steady. I'm choosing you, James. I can't let them hurt us anymore. I nodded, relief flooding me, but it was bittersweet. She was losing her family. I pulled her close, my heart aching. We'll get through this, Em. Together. She nodded, tears falling, and I knew we'd crossed a point of no return. Cutting Ethan and Susan out left a void. Our Seattle apartment felt too quiet, like the air itself was heavy. Emily stared out the window some nights, her eyes distant. I knew she missed her family, even after everything. My chest ached for her, but I couldn't forgive them. Not after the lies, the harassment, the damage to my career. I was barely holding it together myself. The hospital gossip hadn't stopped. Patients still whispered. My reputation hung by a thread. I started therapy, meeting a counselor named Dr. Harris in downtown Seattle. She helped me unpack the anger, the stress, the betrayal. You're carrying too much, she said, her voice calm. I nodded, my throat tight. Talking helped, but it didn't erase the nights I lay awake, replaying Ethan's smirks, his lies. Emily, meanwhile, threw herself into work. She joined a book club, made new friends. I saw her smile again, but it was fragile, like cracked glass. At the hospital, things slowly shifted. My colleagues saw through Ethan's smear campaign. Dr. Patel, my mentor, pulled me aside one day. We know who you are, James. Keep doing good work. His words hit hard, like a lifeline. Patients started trusting me again, booking surgeries without hesitation. The negative reviews stopped trending, buried under new, positive ones. I felt like I could breathe, just a little. Emily and I leaned on each other. One evening, we walked along Alki Beach, the Puget Sound shimmering under the sunset. She took my hand, her grip firm. We're stronger than this, right? She asked, her voice soft but sure. I squeezed her hand, my heart full. Yeah, Em, we are. We talked about our future, about building a life free from Ethan's shadow. It wasn't easy, but it felt possible. Emily found her strength in new ways. She took up painting, filling our apartment with bright canvases. Her laughter came back, real this time. I kept seeing Dr. Harris, learning to let go of the rage. My career stabilized, my confidence creeping back. The hospital promoted me to lead surgeon on a new project. It wasn't the prestigious clinic I'd lost, but it was something, a step forward. We weren't whole yet, but we were healing, together. The scars from Ethan and Susan lingered, but they didn't define us. We'd chosen each other, and that was enough, for now. One morning, a letter arrived. Susan's handwriting, shaky but clear. My heart skipped as I read it. She apologized, her words raw. I was wrong, James. I let Ethan blind me. Please, let's talk. I showed Emily, her eyes scanning the page. Tears fell, but she smiled faintly. Maybe Mom's changed, she whispered. I nodded, cautious but hopeful. We can meet her, Em, but we set boundaries, she agreed, her voice firm. No, Ethan, not yet. We met Susan at a cozy coffee shop in Capitol Hill, the smell of espresso grounding me. She looked older, her eyes tired. I'm sorry, she said, her voice breaking. I should have stopped him. I stayed quiet, letting her speak. Emily reached for my hand under the table, her grip steady. We laid out our terms. No contact with Ethan, no more drama. Susan nodded, tears in her eyes. I just want my daughter back, she said. I believed her, but trust would take time. Emily and I left the shop, the Seattle rain soft on our faces. We didn't say much, but we didn't need to. Back home, by the fireplace, Emily smiled, her eyes bright. We're okay, James. Really okay. I took her hand, my heart full. We'd fought through the worst Ethan's lies, Susan's enabling, and come out stronger. Our life was ours now, built on choices we made together. Years later, we're still in Seattle, our home filled with laughter, love, and Emily's paintings. Susan visits sometimes, respecting our boundaries. Ethan's gone, living his life elsewhere. I wouldn't change a thing. It brought us here, unbreakable.